भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Verses 4 and 5, which are the crux of not only this chapter, but the entire Bhagavad Gita and the vision of Vedanta, are being elaborated in 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 also. So, in verses 4 and 5, we had a very cryptic unfoldment of the nature of Bhagavan as the cause of the entire Jagat, and yet totally not the cause. How can something be the cause and not be the cause also? This is something which is very intriguing and has to be properly understood. Matsthani sarva bhutani. Everything is in me. That in is again in inverted commas. Everything is in me, but then it is not in me. Nothing is in me. Again, from the standpoint of the Absolute, from the standpoint of Satchidananda Atma, nothing is there. There is no Jagat even. In fact, writing commentary for these verses, Adi Shankara has a long discussion. First of all, is there a creation? This is where he begins. Let us begin at the beginning. Is there a creation? Then he answers that question by saying the question itself is untenable. First of all, who is asking? And if you say me, the created being is asking, then of course it's a moot point. Because if you consider yourself a creature, a created being, that means you are accepting creation. Then why are you asking? This is the problem. And then if you say there is no creation, then again the question comes, who is the one talking? Who is the one that is saying no creation? The one that is endowed with the upadhi to deny the creation. Then if you deny the creation, are you also denying the upadhi in which it comes? If you say yes, then what kind of a denial is it? Who is denying? If you are denying the upadhi, then if you say the mind is denying the body, the existence of the body, both of them belong to what? The same order of the reality. And what order is it? Satyam. Right? Mind is Satyam? No. Both are Mithya. Mind Mithya. Body Mithya. It's like what is that, pot calling the kettle black. So, that's what it is, because both of them have been on the stove for too long. And they have got a patina of soot, smoke. And so the pot looks at the kettle and it laughs. And then the kettle also looks back and it laughs at this one. And each one is negating or trying to cancel out the other. And so really, after a long discussion, he comes to the conclusion that really speaking, the question itself is vitiated. The question is untenable, because if you say yes, there is creation, you are in trouble. And if you say no, there is no creation, you are in even bigger trouble, because who is the one saying no? And what is it that you are denying? So therefore this anirvachya, should be understood as part and parcel of the understanding of mithya. The definition of mithya is that it is anirvachya. Cannot be categorically stated to be existent and cannot be dismissed as what? Non-existent. Dangling in between, like Trishanku. Trishanku was a highly evolved sage, getting ready to go to heaven. And as he was going to heaven, I think Indra or somebody got jealous and pushed him down. And then certain other forces, his own good karmas, pushed him up. And so, equal and opposite movements kept him in somewhere in space, in a place called Trishanku Swarga, his own Swarga. So, like this, the Jagat is neither there nor not there. This is where we are coming. And so, from its own standpoint, and if we take that example of clay, from its own standpoint, clay is not the cause of anything. It can say, I did not create the pot. What pot? What lid? What sharava? What jug? What are you talking about? I did not create anything at all. But then the pot says, I am nothing but clay. From the standpoint of the pot, the clay is the cause. From the standpoint of itself, there is no such thing as cause, no such thing as effect. When the cause itself is not there, what to talk of the effect? Free of cause and effect, the cause and effect are as though imbued, as though superimposed. We can't even say really superimposed. As though superimposed on that Atma, on that Satchidanandam Brahma, which is free of being both cause and effect. This is on the micro level. Same thing we have to understand, this is on the macro level. Same thing we have to understand in the micro level. The micro level also, we can say, I create, I go. Who is this I? Satchidananda Atma. Does Satchidananda Atma go? No. It neither goes nor comes, it cannot sit, it cannot stand, it cannot do anything. Totally free of action. I go means the upadhi goes. It's like a person, the example that is given is like a person sitting in a car. And then they went from Rishikesh to New Delhi in 3 hours, 3.5 hours, record time. How did you do this? Somebody asked. Oh, I did 85 kilometers an hour. Really? Even Usain Bolt cannot do 85 kilometers an hour. So what does the person mean when the person says, I did 85 kilometers an hour? Huh? Car did, yes. Not the person. Person did not do. The car went 85 miles an hour, but since the person is sitting in the car, the person takes on the attributes of the car and says, I did 85 miles an hour. And supposing you 85 kilometers an hour, and supposing you question, come on, did you really do it? No, I didn't do anything, I was just sitting in the car. Car went. The car had all these, the ability to do this. Same thing on the macro level. That is why the Prakriti is called car. That is why it does everything. It does all kinds of things. It is the one, it is the mover, shaker and everything. But Prakriti is inert or sentient? Inert. Maya is inert. If she is inert, first of all, how it is she if she is inert? It doesn't matter, that's a different discussion. Inert, can it have gender? No. But here there is a gender ascribed because of the ability to create. So if something is inert, if Maya is inert, then if it is, see, we have the sentient and inert. an inert object cannot be the doer. How can it be the doer? So it has to have as the backing a sentient being, like the person sitting in the car. Person is sitting in the car and operating certain machinery, etc. And then the car is doing the driving. The person says, I'm not doing anything, especially nowadays with the modern cars. What do you have? Cruise control. Yeah, you just press a button and it goes. Hopefully it will stop when. And then there is, what are they called now? Self cars, self-driving cars. They have gotten into some pretty bad accidents. Self-driving cars. And that's why they are not let loose on the road yet. Yeah. In India, if they come, only Bhagavan has to say. In India, things are slow. That's why we don't have that many accidents. And even on big highways, buffaloes take rest. And so you have to respect all other life forms. So therefore, so there is a distinction made between consciousness and the upadhi in which it is seated, existent, as though seated. So this Satchidanandam Brahma is in what? In this particular upadhi. It has a mind, it has a body, it has senses. And then when I say I do, I don't mean that I Satchidananda Atma is the actor. What do I mean? I mean I, that is endowed with this body-mind-sense complex, the one who owns up this body-mind-sense complex as I, the ahankara associated with and firmly identified with the upadhi, does. But the funny thing is, all of them are inert. Body, inert. Mind, inert. Ahankara, inert. Senses, inert. So then, with what kind of an authority can I say, I think, I sleep, I eat, I drink, I go, I come? How can I say that? With what authority? That Satchidananda Atma, Brahmatma, is blessing the body with sentience. As we have seen, what kind of a sentience is it? Borrowed sentience, borrowed existence, borrowed timelessness, and because of which the body acts. It's like just like a battery powered or a clockwork mouse. You wind it up and it goes round, round, round. After that, stops. Or a battery powered toy. I have seen there is a drummer and keeps on drumming until the battery runs out. That battery is Satchidananda Atma. That's why all the batteries' names start with A, Atma. That's how to remember. It's all Atma alone. So the Atma powers, and it's usually the battery pack is not visible. Somewhere in the back you have to search and then get it out. It's very difficult to put it in, get it out. Everything, even the clock, everything works like that. And so, similarly, the Atma, without doing anything, in its presence, actions take place. This is what is the teaching here. And both on the micro level and on the macro level. That's why the concept of Prakriti, Trigunatmika Prakriti, Maya is brought in, because what is this Maya? She is the upadhi for Ishvara. Just like you have an upadhi, what is your upadhi? Body, mind, senses, ahankara, buddhi, and complaints. Complaints are also part of the upadhi. And this is your upadhi. And because of this upadhi, you are able to do things. You can say, I did this seva, I went to the dining hall, I served food, I ate the food, I cleaned up, I am a student of Vedanta. All these identifications and actions happen because you are in this Upadhi. Without Upadhi, Satchidanandam Brahma, all pervasive, of what use is it? No use at all. And so, similarly, on the macroscopic level, we have Maya Upadhi for Ishvara. Just like your Upadhi has body, mind, senses, Maya Upadhi is also an Upadhi, a container for Satchidanandam Brahma to call itself Ishvara. It's just a question of dress. In the Viveka Chudamani, a wonderful example is given. Raja, crown, and then what is that? Some kind of a wand he holds. What is that called? I don't know. Scepter or something. And then he holds. It's the insignia of power. Throne. All these things are insignia of power, or absolute power. If it's a monarchy, and then a golden cape, crown, all these jewels, a ring. The ring only the king wears. Why? Because that can be dipped in lac and then it becomes the official seal. You put it at the end of every letter, you dipped it in lacquer or some ink and put it as the seal. So you know that it's not some kind of an impersonation because the ring is always with the king. The sentry also has a dress. The sentry has a dress, sentry has a uniform, and sentry has a spear to make sure nobody comes into the king's chamber without permission. Sentry is the security guard. One day the sentry has a nice idea. And what does he do? Kidnaps the king. Nobody is there. Everybody has gone about their day and the king is just sitting in the darbar in the assembly hall, kidnaps the king, and then he says, I'm going to let you live. No, I don't have any designs for your life. I only want your clothes and yes, please, the ring also. Makes him take off his clothes. He says, I can't go like this without clothes. Don't worry, you can wear my clothes. A forceful exchange takes place, a forcible exchange, in which the king does not want to participate, but he has no choice. He has the spear at his throat. He has to comply. There is no other choice. Then people start to come in. The sentry, now turned king, says, this man just started to do a coup. Arrest him. Off with his head. And nobody even recognizes the king without all his paraphernalia. Unless, of course, it's his personal valet or somebody like that. But all those who came into the hall, they mistook the king to be a sentry because he was dressed like that. Seized him, and the king was protesting, no, I am the king, this fellow is an impostor. So just like that, it's the Upadhi that makes the entire difference. The whole difference is like that, based on the Upadhi alone. So here also this Maya Upadhi makes this, again I have to hold my hand like this, makes this Satchidanandam Brahma into Ishvara, a glorious Upadhi. Maya Upadhi is not small. Maya is all knowledge, all Shakti, all power, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini, Trigunatmika, the one who can create, the one who can take back, the one who can sustain all these powers. And Ishvaratvam she bestows upon Satchidananda Atma. And then what? Then Ishvara becomes the mover, shaker, creator of the entire Jagat. And then same Maya Upadhi for the Jiva becomes a liability. Why? Because The Jiva is Ishvara presides over Maya, but Jiva is embraced by this Maya, avidya. For Ishvara, Maya is all knowledge. For Jiva, she is avidya. Until it is dispensed with, which is why this knowledge becomes very important. And so this is what we have been seeing so far, and along with this upadhi, the imputation, so to speak, of that causality is also complete. And so now, continuing with the discussion, we get into the nitty-gritty of the whole creative process. Kalpakshaye punastani kalpadav visrijamyaham. I create everything. But then what happens? In the 8th verse we saw Prakritim swam avashtabhya, presiding over my own Prakriti, which is my own upadhi, visrijami punah punaha. I keep creating. We have seen this verse. And what do I create? Bhutagramam imam kritsnam. Groups and groups of people. How? Avasham. Not that I want to create. I am not creating. It's all happening. Just as effortlessly as thoughts come unbidden into your mind, which is how the Kenopanishad begins. Keneshitam preshitam patati manaha. How do the sent by whom, impelled by whom, do the thoughts fall into the mind? This is a very big mystery. How does the prana do its functions? How do the eyes, how does the mind do what it does? How do the eyes and the ears see? Kaudevo yunakti. Is there some kind of a deva, an effulgent being, an all-powerful being that is ordaining me to see, to hear, to think, to be? In fact, if the student's question is like this, imagine the adhikaritvam. Really. The question already has the answer in it. And the teacher has a very easy time answering it. Shrotrasya shrotra. Ears don't hear, it's the ear of the ear, that which blesses the ear to hear. Similarly, on the macro level, Ishvara blesses the Prakriti to do its job. Bhutagramam idam kritsnam avasham prakriter vasha. Avasham means according to their own karma. Because really speaking, as I said right in the beginning, this question is not tenable. What is the question? Why there is creation? Is not tenable. So then, if we are really forced to answer this question, we will say that the Jagat exists for the exhaustion of the Jiva's karma. And so that is the avashatvam here, avasha. There is no, with avasha means there is a law of karma, and that law of karma, because of that law, groups of people are created in one particular, groups of beings are created in a certain way. Created means the beings are not created, beings are Ishvara, upadhis are created, name and form are created. The container for this Satchidananda Atma of many and varied types are created. So many things are created like this. And then each one has its own karma. So many, unfortunately we see this in America a lot. A truck full of cattle, cows, bulls, in this uncomfortable truck being driven on the highway to, naturally where? Slaughterhouse, unfortunately. And then what happens? Suddenly there is something it skips over, something happens, comes to a sudden halt, that flap door in the back opens, 4 or 5 of them escape, run for their lives, and an unwritten rule is, if they have escaped, you should not capture them again. You should just keep them as a pet or something like that. So which ones escape and which ones go to the slaughterhouse? It's not random. There is an order. There is an order, and that order here, I myself as Ishvara cannot transgress it. Why? Because that order is also me. How can I cross myself? How can I cross myself? I can't cross myself. And so that order is itself what? Me. And so therefore, I can't go against this. Therefore, it's like Prakriti doing this. In Swam Avashtabhya means presided over by me. And the same thing continues in the next verse. Let us chant it. Nacha mantani karmani Vibadnanti dhananjaya Udasinavadasinam Asaktam teshu karmasu Nachamam tani karmani limpanti. Tani karmani means the karmani of the bhutani. Bhutani, that bhutagramam. The fact that I have quote unquote created and sent people to various lokas, sent people to various things, jobs, or given them some karma phala, which is difficult to take. We are not talking of punya, we are talking of results of papa karma. That also they have got, and it is difficult to take. And then having given them all that, one would think that I would be the worst karta. Nachamam tani karmani limpanti. Limpanti, lip to stick. Limpanti, they don't stick to me. Limpanti doesn't mean walks on one leg, okay? Yeah, that's not what it means. So, Nachamam tani karmani limpanti. It does not stick to me. You know that, what is that called? Non-stick cookware. Anything you put doesn't stick. What is that called? Teflon. Teflon. Ishvara here presenting himself as Teflon. Non-stick. Nothing sticks to me. Tani karmani. The bhutas are having their own karma, and then some of them muncha, free me, ha ha, oh no, they are crying, ha ha, muncha, free me, I'm trapped, trahimam, pahimam, they are praying. They will get the results of that karma, they will get the results of that prayer also. And then while some others are plotting grand larceny, big bank robbery, defrauding people on a big scale. They are plotting because they can't sit still. Too much rajas and not enough dharma. This is what happens as a result. They are unable to sit still. They are unable to just enjoy being themselves. And so they will, and too much push to get this, that or the other immediately. And then because of that, what happens? They are plotting to their own wreckage. And then they cannot complain to me, and their karma does not stick to me. Whatever I have done in this jagat, the pain of the jagat does not come to me. The ecstasy and the joys that people attribute to the jagat and derive from the jagat also does not touch me. Why? How? Nachamam tani karmani limpanti. Because I am what? I am free of all of that. This not only Ishvara can say. And why can Ishvara say this? Identified with Satchidananda. From the standpoint of Satchidananda, from the standpoint of gold, which says, I never created any ornament. What ornament? It's only gold. From the standpoint of clay, I never made any pots. I am still clay. And so, like that, when we see when the standpoint is there, Satchidananda, that is the standpoint, then all the other mithya things you don't have to involve with, you don't have to identify with, you don't have to connect to at all. Same thing you can say, just like Ishvara can say, I am not responsible for the things that happen in the Jagat. This was already talked about in chapter 4. Tasya karta chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram apimam akartaram vidhi avyayam. No me to be see. Who did these varnashrama dharmas? Me. What a stupid idea. How could you do this? Look at the injustice. I didn't do anything at all. Because why? My nature is akarta, avyaya, unchanging, nirvikara. Atma is nirvikari, unchanging, avyaya, the same at all times. I didn't do anything. But you did this. No, I didn't do anything at all. But you did this. Yes. Seated in the upadhi called prakriti, things have happened on their own. You can say, I did this. Just like the person seated in a train, in a bullet train that is going very fast, say, oh, I am going so many miles an hour. No, you are not. You are just sitting in one place. You are not going anywhere at all. But the dharma of the train, the attributes and the speed of the train, you are identifying with. And from that standpoint, you can say, I have gone so fast. I am going so fast. You are not going anywhere at all. Asinam duram prajati. This is what it is. Today in the morning we saw the explanation for that. This Vishesha Chaitanya is nothing but that Chaitanya associated with a particular upadhi. That is exactly what it is. And then Samanya Chaitanya, Samanya Chit is that all-pervasive consciousness. So from the standpoint of all-pervasive consciousness, no eating, no drinking, no moving, nothing is happening. Just like Ishvara says, I didn't do anything. You can also say, I didn't do anything at all. I am not reaping the results of these actions because the actor I am not. Nachamam tani karmani limpanti. You can also say that, provided the ignorance with regard to the I has been dispelled. When the ignorance with regard to the I has been dispelled, one can say that. Then the next word, the word Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is name of Arjuna. So then, Udasinavat Asinam. Asinam means seated. Seated means what? Not doing anything. Seated means where? Where is Bhagavan seated? In Maya. That's what. In the upadhi, as though seated in the upadhi, as though obtaining in the Maya upadhi alone, Ishvara can say, all this karma I have done from the standpoint of Satchidananda Atma, Udasinavat Asinam. Udasina means absolutely indifferent, to the point of being aloof. Aloof. I am not doing anything at all. What pain? What sorrow? It's not really there. Nothing is there. All that is there is what? Satchidanandam Brahma. And that Brahma, Ahamasmi. Nothing other than me is there. All that is there is Satchidananda Atma, and that Atma I alone am. And this Atma alone I am. I am not doing anything. And nobody else's wrath. If somebody is angry with me, I am not affected. Why am I not affected? If somebody is angry with me, because that anger doesn't belong to me. If they are angry for some reason coming from them. It's not coming from me. Why? Because I am Satchidananda Atma. This is important because, see, this has to come with a caveat. This knowledge can happen only when there is adhikaritvam. Without adhikaritvam, it will be a serial killer's defense. Not guilty, Your Honor. Why? How? By way of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 3 and 4. Nacha matsthani bhutani aham kinchit na karomi, etc., etc. See, Shruti Pramana I am giving for my innocence. That cannot be the case, because here we are talking of Vyavaharika Satta, the empirical reality. In the empirical reality, the empirical things are to be, it has to be resolved, transactionally resolved. That's why there are penalties, that's why there is karma, there is accountability. Karma is a model, dharma is a model. It's just like when a small child starts to ride a two-wheeler, bicycle. Then the parents will put one, what is that called? Something to balance, extra wheels they will put. Yeah. So that the child balances itself on the road, does not fall. Then first they put two wheels, then they take out one wheel and they put just one wheel. And then the child, after it learns to steer and balance, then what happens? The extra wheels come off. The training wheels, that's what I was thinking of. These training wheels come off after the child is trained. You don't have those extra wheels. You don't say, the child even will say, oh good, they are gone, I want to be free, I want to ride. Nobody will say, let them be there all the time. No. That's not the point. The point is to learn how to drive, how to ride the bike without swaying and falling and getting afraid of the oncoming other bikes and traffic. That is what the idea is. Similarly, Papa, Punya are the training wheels on either side of this person's journey on the road of Dharma. This is what it is, karma. The karma is a model, just like a model in physics. So therefore, Papa is there, you better watch out. And you don't do this, don't do that. Because you will attract karma, you will attract bad karma, you will attract Papa. All this, the inner child is told. The child means what? The non-mature person is told all that. You will attract punya, you will attract papa. And how should you drive on the road of life? You should drive on the road of life with minimal papa and maximum punya, maximum dharma. All this is introduced. Then the person knows how to balance the cycle on the road of life. Cycle stands for the journey. The person learns to walk in beauty, integrity and grace. Such a person, you feel happy when they come into the room, even though you might not know them, because they have no truck with anybody. They have no enmity. And they are just there minding their own business. If you ask them to help, if they are able to help, they help. That's all they are. They just lend a helping hand whenever asked. Otherwise, they are not really doing anything at all. So then they go through life like this, and therefore they are ready for this knowledge. So this is the purpose of karma. So once you study Vedanta, in the beginning, yes, Papa is important, Punya is important, collecting punya to ward off other papas so that the study can come in an uninterrupted manner is all very, 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 very important. And then after a while, the whole thing is thrown away. Whole thing is thrown away. What papa? What punya? Who is it accruing to? If I am Satchidananda Atma, if I am not the doer, to whom is the papa coming? For that matter, to whom is the punya coming? That's why they say the jnani is incurring a lot of punya. Each time the jnani teaches, lot of punya. If a jnani does puja, lot of punya. Does the jnani want the punya? No. And so therefore, the people milk the feet of the jnani to take away the punya. That is what they. Atmagyam hi archaget bhutikamaha. At the end of the Mundakopanishad it comes. The knower of the Atma is worshipped by all, not just people who want Vedanta from him or her, but also people who want material comforts, bhutikamaha, in the here and now, whatever one wants. So udasina means totally unaffected by the karma or the karma phala. So whether one is having brickbats or bouquets or something in the middle, one is not in the least bit concerned. Udasinavat, like somebody who is totally aloof. Aloof. Not really quite here. Asanga. Asaktam, he says. That asanga in the past passive participle is asakta. Asaktam teshu karmasu. With regards to those karmas of creation, sustenance, dissolution, and with regards to the karma phala enjoyed by or suffered by all the people in the Jagat, I am unaffected. And in fact, the people in the Jagat also can say, with the help of Vedanta Shastra, can say, I am unaffected. Because the karma accrues to the one who claims the results of action by misrecognizing, misappropriating oneself, aham karma karomi, and this is therefore my karma phala. The one who misappropriates this epithet, I am karta, will get the karma. That is what it is. But here one has woken up from a bad dream, like I told you yesterday, where people are beating you, you wake up, and then what? No marks. And same thing, you dream, somebody dreams, oh, I am in a pit filled with venomous, poisonous snakes. They are biting me all over. You wake up from this nightmare, are there any bite marks? No. That is exactly how the knowledge falsifies the karma. How does the knowledge falsify the karma? By falsifying oneself as karta. There is no karta, therefore there is no karma. And so too for the individual, so too for Bhagavan. Just like it is for Bhagavan, so too it is for the individual also. Udasin asaktam teshu karmasu. With regard to those karmas of sthiti, pralaya, and then what is that, srishti, I am totally absorbed. Further, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi Suyate sacharacharam Hetunanena kaunteya Jagad viparivartate. Because this Prakriti is not self-acting like the Sankhya philosophers say. The Sankhya philosophers come under a very wrong understanding. They call Prakriti as Pradhana, and then there is Purusha. Purusha is Atma, but they also say there are many Purushas, many Atmas. Atma has nothing to do with Pradhana. Pradhana creates, Atma doesn't do anything. Then we have to ask, how does Pradhana, which is Prakriti, how does it create? Is Prakriti inert? Yes, it is inert. If it is inert, how can it create? This is what we have to ask. And so therefore, we don't accept the Sankhya philosophy. We also use the word Prakriti, Purusha, and Prakriti, Ishvara, etc. So here it's very clear. Maya means Maya adhyakshena. Maya means by me. Adhyaksha. Adhyakshena means blessed by me. Presided over by me. This Prakriti draws the Satchidanandatvam, the power from me. Drawing the Satchidanandatvam, this Maya becomes sentient as it were, equipped to create. Like even a red hot iron ball. Tapta ayaf pindaha. So, ayaha means iron, pinda, ball. The redness and the heat, the hotness, do they belong to the iron ball? No. They belong to the fire where the iron ball has been sitting. Then it is brought out. And then it is beaten into whatever shape. Afterwards you make it into an iron utensil to like an axe or something like that to use. A horseshoe, a utensil, so many things you can make after you bring it out of the fire. But when you bring it out of the fire, all you see is this red hot ball. The redness and the heat belong not to the iron, which is cool by nature, which is and dark by nature, which is neither hot nor is it red by its own swarupa. So the hotness and the redness is borrowed from what? Agni, the fire. So similarly, this ability to be the mover and shaker of the whole Jagat is borrowed from Satchidananda Atma, which does not create, which is not the Karta. And then Maya creates, but Maya is inert. So this borrowed, shining in borrowed glory, this Maya creates everything. Aghatita ghatana patiyasi Maya. Patiyasi means very, very clever. Patiyas, very, very clever. Patu, daksha. So, aghatita ghatana, that making the impossible possible is the realm of Maya Shakti. She makes the impossible possible. Blessed by me, Suyate. Suyate means creates. This Maya Upadhi, my Maya Upadhi creates. What does she create? Sacharacharatmakam Jagat. Characharaihi sahavartate. Sacharacharam. Chara means moving. Achara, non-moving. We have a very funny way of dividing. We don't say sentient, insentient. We say moving, non-moving. Out of this, we can't come to the conclusion that all moving things are sentient. What about Vayu? What about the river? No. But then we can't also come to the conclusion that all the unmoving things are what? Insentient. Like, what about mushrooms? They are not going anywhere. They are just in one place, non-moving but sentient. In fact, mushrooms have a lot of intelligence, they say. That's why we don't eat them. They are in between plants and animals. They are some kind of a fungi, not fun guy. Okay? Yeah. So they are some kind of a fungus. Fungi plural. And they did one experiment I was just really very, very impressed. So they found that in the world the bees are getting less and less. Fewer and fewer bees. Because of all this, our bad behavior is affecting the bees. Bees are required for pollination. Bees are required for food. If there are no bees, there will not be any food. So how to increase this pollination? All the old plants are dying, which the bees like to go to. All the flowers are becoming endangered. So they did one experiment. They wanted to, they grew some mushrooms. And then they programmed one mushroom to somehow, made it kind of a hybrid and made it have some kind of a fragrance to invite the bees. And then, to their surprise, or even they just programmed one mushroom. To their surprise, all the other mushrooms that grew with them started to have that fragrance without really going through this scientific experiment. And then very soon the bees started to come. First they thought it's a funny looking flower. It's like a white blob. What to do here? But then they started to pollinate. They made mushroom honey. It was amazing. very healing apparently. So there is this annual conference in America that happens. It's called Bioneers, like pioneers, but BIO. It's all on ecology. This is where they came and did this experiment. They brought a whole tray of mushrooms with the bees not willing to leave them. And as soon as the bees came in the auditorium, everybody was like, oh no, no, I'm going to go. And the speaker said, don't worry, they are not interested in you. They are very attached to the mushrooms. They are very attached to the fungi. And they are not interested in you at all. So then they were showing all these mushroom honey, these various types of mushrooms and honey, how it was very beautiful. So like this, the intelligence of the Jagat is Satchidanandam Brahma. That knowledge, that sentience is Satchidanandam Brahma. And then when we talk of the upadhi of various things, that nama rupa is made again by the cosmic intelligence in the form of Maya, which goes with the borrowed power of Brahman, Satchidanandam Brahman. And then this is what, so this is Suyate Sacharacharam. So the whole world of inert and sentient beings, or moving and non-moving things, comprising moving and non-moving things, is created. Anena hetuna, he Kaunteya, O Arjuna, because of this reason, Anena hetuna, Jagat Viparivartate, Jagat Vartate, Jagat exists. Parivartate exists all around in a manner that is easy to recognize, in a manner that is easy to objectify. Viparivartate means Visheshena Paritaha Vartate. And what is the Vishesha about the Jagat? The Vishesha is that now it is here, now it is gone. It has got this iffy existence. No matter how real it is non-separate from Ishvara. And then this concludes the unfoldment of the verses 4 and 5 about how this cause-effect relationship is there between the Jagat, between Ishvara and the Jagat, without really there being a cause. Ishvara is not really the cause. Ultimately, there is no cause, and then if there is no cause, there is no effect. First, there is no effect, we say, because the effect is non-separate from the cause. So, effect has been swallowed up, and then what is left? Cause. If there is no because, can the cause be a cause? No. It's just an empty word, cause. So, that cause is not there, and so therefore the causality is not there. The causality is as though attributed, and the effect also is as though attributed to the same Satchidananda Atma. Now, in the next two verses, the Lord laments that people do not know this. Okay, and so let us chant that verse. Avajananti mam mudhaha, Manushim tanumashritam, Param bhavam ajanantaha, Mama bhuta maheshwaram. Two things stand out here. Ajanantaha, not knowing. Second line. And then the first line, avajananti, they do not know, they misknow. They know wrongly. They understand wrongly. Who are these people? Mudha. They are not aloof, they are a fool. Okay? They are mudha, sadly deluded. What I see is real. That is all that there is. This is what they are convinced by, and they are just not going beyond the bling, the glamour of the Jagat. The names and forms shine and they are attractive, they tempt you, and then they don't go beyond that. So they don't know me. Who do they know? Don't know? Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. They don't know me as this Mahancha Asau Ishvara. The only thing in the world that is Ishvara I am. Mahan means there is nothing else. So it doesn't in this sentence, it doesn't mean great. It means there is the only thing that there is. So I am the Maheshwara. I am the truth of all the beings. I am the truth of the whole Jagat. I am the Karta. I am everything. They don't know me as Ishvara. They don't know me as Ishvara, alas. This is on the global level. They also don't know me as the truth of themselves. They neither know me as the cause, nor know me as free of cause. Alas. This is Ishvara's lamentation. Avajananti mam mudhaha. Avajananti doesn't mean they know, okay? Just because there is jananti. Avajananti means they misunderstand me. They do not know me at all. They do not know me how? Manushim tanum ashritam mam. They do not know me as being in a human upadhi. That the one who is powering the human upadhi is myself alone. The truth of every human being is myself. Sadly, they do not know. Okay, then do they know you as the cause of the Jagat? That also they don't know. Param bhavam ajanantah. Param bhavam, the ultimate reality as Satchidanandam Brahma. Or as even Ishvara, the one who is presiding over the Jagat, the cause of the Jagat, even that they do not know. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. Ishvara is talking. So, they don't know even this. So, do they know me as Satchidananda, that which powers every single upadhi on the micro level? No. Do they know me as the truth of the whole Jagat, the cause of the Jagat as the macro level, as Ishvara? No. So sad. Why do they don't know? Why do they not know? We'll find out when? Tomorrow. Tonight, no. Tonight is video. Yeah. 8:15. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.